Hey everybody, oh my God, it's finally here. I've been waiting for quite a long time on this. It is Gettysburg 160 at last, and we're really happy to be bringing you all sorts of coverage from the battlefield, from the town, and on the campaign. I'm Gary Edelman, that's Chris and Sarah behind the camera. You'll probably be hearing or seeing from them soon enough. And before we really get started into all of the stuff here, here we are at the Horse Soldier. Fine military Americana. You've seen us coming here before. It's becoming like an annual sort of pilgrimage to this place. So let me go in first here. Let's see if we can get someone to greet us. What do you know? We have someone greeting us here.
Hey, Gary. Hey, Chris. Hey, Sarah.
My good friend Jim Thomas here of the Horse Soldiers, taking us through many a time. We could spend hours in here, but I think today we're going to focus on some coats.
Yes, we've got a number of uniform groupings that are very interesting. All right. I'll let you guys describe them.
All right, good. Well, I'm going to start over here, and I'm ready to hand that mic over to Chris because he is much better on material culture as we focus in first on a USCT officer's uniform. Looks like it's just in beautiful shape here.
Yeah, I'd love to take a look here. You see the castle up here for the engineers. That's usually whenever they actually created this emblem, it was after Verdun over in France. You see the single line of buttons down here indicating that he's a line officer, a lieutenant, or a captain. In fact, he's a first lieutenant. We can see his lieutenant bars up in this area. We can also see underneath there his vest, and then of course a sash that's down in here. And over here we have his discharge papers, as well as a breakdown of who he was with, the 1st Regiment of Louisiana Volunteers, the Engineer Corps d'Afrique as they were known. So it's a really awesome coat. You can see a sash that's in fantastic order there. I think this is just a fantastic piece.
Lieutenant Hewitt, I see. Jim?
Next, we have a complete naval uniform, which guys' tools, trousers, jumpers, everything, but I mean the hats, the woven hat's definitely one of the cooler pieces.
The hat's in fantastic shape.
Yeah, and you really see hats like this in some of the photos you see. And I'll tell you what, I don't see a whole lot of Navy pieces like this. It's just beautiful.
Yeah, it's in fantastic shape, like most things are here. You can see the necktie there. You can also see up here his tools, as Jim pointed out, all of his tools that we've used on the ship. Really, really cool stuff.
Needles.
Oh, needles there for sewing. Huge needles too, because of course you're working on a ship, usually working with canvas or the like. Down here it looks like you have, and his over shirt there, which is in just awesome condition. You can see the stitching right up there around the collar. Yeah. And then do we have his drawers there, or his trousers?
Several pair of that.
The drawers are the your undergarments of the day.
That's I forget what they call this. You put it on your hand when you're pushing the needle to do the sewing. It protects the palm of your hand.
We'll call it a thumb stall. How about that? A thumb stall for the Navy, but it's not.
For the Navy.
Yeah, you can see the thimble on there too, which is really cool.
Yeah. So let me add three things real quick. First of all, we have a viewer from North Carolina. Bob remembers you guys when you were in the old Gettysburg Village.
Oh, okay. Across the street over by the annex.
Yeah. 2, because it's just a matter of time before it happens. You know, when you have your own collection of Civil War artifacts and historic artifacts, you can decide whether to wear gloves while you handle those things, and you can decide how to handle those things as well. Now, third, most importantly perhaps, is I think we make our way towards some other cool coats. Jim, is all this stuff, these 2 items for sale?
Absolutely.
HorseSoldier.com.
This is the Horse Soldier's 52nd year in business.
All right, good.
Very impressive.
Thanks everybody for watching. You're with the American Battlefield Trust, and here we are at the Horse Soldier in Gettysburg. Needs no introduction. You've probably come here before, and man, we could just spend hours in here. I've just passed by swords, guns, photos, bottles. Look at the fiesta of kepis over here, or I'll call it a melange of just various Civil War kepis and forage caps, and it looks like some other headwear as well. Someone's going to hit me on calling it a kepi versus a forage cap. Is that right, Chris?
Well, yeah, but you have a mixture in here. There is a kepi, there's forage cap, slouch cap. You have a little bit of everything. My favorite Corps badge, the 4th Division or 4th Corps back there with the triangle. I always joke that that's the Amish Brigade coming through because it always looks like it's on the back of an Amish buggy. We joked about that when we were reenacting back in the day.
Cool. I see a lot of post-war Gettysburg souvenirs they have here. This is Gettysburg. They cover, you know, all aspects of the Civil War, plus a lot of other early America stuff. Just too much to see, to be sure. There's a whole case of just glasses. There's stuff of just flasks. There's stuff of just shoulder boards and straps. Here is Steve and Dodson Ramser. You can tell that's a daguerreotype too. Look how it turns into sort of like a mirror. They're notably hard to photograph. Chris is doing a good job behind the camera there.
In federal uniforms, so pre-Civil War.
And Ramser's only 25 at the Battle of Gettysburg, right?
Yeah, and then you have Frank Huger there with him, who's an artillerist with the Confederacy, which is awesome. So you have two. This is a beautiful piece.
I think they dated this like 1858, just because of when they graduated West Point and
Wow.
that they're wearing federal uniforms.
Let me try to beat somebody to the punch, because nobody has yet called Chris on saying it's not Huger, it's Huger or
Yes,
Huger.
but I was also corrected in South Carolina by saying they said it wasn't Huger, it was Huger. So you figure it out in South Carolina.
Yeah, is it safe to say that we can't win no matter how we pronounce things, especially the most controversial one of all, Gettysburg versus Chris's Gettysburg?
All right, and then as we move through here, we have just more uniforms, and this is a really awesome piece. For those of you familiar with Big Round Top, this is an officer who you drive by as you go over Little Round Top whenever the road's open down there. And this is William Wells. He's a Medal of Honor recipient for his actions here at Gettysburg. He is a major with the 1st Vermont Cav. He is not a career Army officer. He joins up in his early 20s as a battalion commander here at Gettysburg, and is fighting on July 3rd down there with Judson Kilcavalry's division. Judson Kilpatrick, as his actual name is. But the cool thing, as Jim's about to point out, are the stars for his brigadier generalship on his shoulder. You notice there's no straps up here. These stars are just sewn directly onto the uniform. This is a really awesome uniform piece, and you can see the double-breasted coat that was definitely fitted to him. Many of the officers had their uniforms tailored right to their body, and they would have to pay for their own uniforms, because that was one of the things you did as an officer.
Yeah, just two things to point out here, Chris. One, folks at the Horse Soldier were pointing out that you can see a distinctive seam going right down through the eye holes, or right across the eye holes, and there you go. You can still see that seam to this day right there, which is just very interesting. And note that you can also see the shoulder stars right there without the strap, without the board, as Chris just pointed out. You can see them there, and there's something about you can actually be with and next to and purchase, if you'd like, a uniform that is actually photographed with a soldier in it, let alone one who has a statue at Gettysburg. It's not that often to have
and won the Medal of Honor.
Yes, and a Medal of Honor recipient. I mean, you just don't have that many people with the rank of major with full portrait statues here on the Gettysburg battlefield. Now, I think this one might have been the most special one at all when we knew we were going to come in here. Let's just call this what it is and let Chris introduce this one.
Yeah, this is a vest as well as an officer's coat for Snowden Andrews. Snowden Andrews is a Confederate artillerist. You can see, even to this day, how bright the cuffs are, indicating red for artillery. You can see there the braiding over on the cuff. As you go up here, you can see A for artillery, and also Andrews. And then, what's really cool, this was made in France by the tailor of Napoleon III. Napoleon III is a very lavish leader, the Emperor of France for a short time. If you go to his palace at Compiègne, you will see just how he lived. He lived a lifestyle, and this was his personal tailor, and that's really cool here to see that. The Austrian braiding is in fantastic shape down here, indicating the rank of colonel. And then, of course, down on this vest, which looks very tiny, this is a very fitted vest. You'll notice, if I get in here closely, if the camera will work with us here, let me give it some light. And it's not working with us. There we go. The Maryland seal, because Snowden Andrews was in charge of a Confederate Maryland battery. You can see the pockets that he has here. There might have been some patching done at one point, because you can see some different brown here inside as well. But this is in just outstanding condition, and is one of the coolest pieces of Confederate memorabilia I've seen in a long time.
Yeah, I just really, I'm in awe of this particular piece here. You might know Snow Nandris, if memory serves. I think we see him in the Gods and Generals movie. I think he might be portrayed in The Field of Lost Shoes too, but don't quote me on that. But what a beautiful piece. I love the French writing inside, the braiding, and just seeing these original buttons like this is good. And I want you all to know that there are limits here. You know, you've seen us touch some of the material here. I did wonder whether I could try this on just to see how slim this vest is, and I was told no, and that is a smart move, I think. So again, you get to treat your historic artifacts the way you'd like. Chris, what do you want to add here?
Yeah, I would just add inside it's actually almost a quilted lining that's inside of this. Is a lined coat. Sarah had pointed out earlier that she noticed the very, very French style on it of the kind of swoop there, that the flap on the coat doesn't go straight down like you see on many officers' coats, but this would be a little bit easier to put on at times. Also, will give you that barrel-chested look because the spacing on the buttons, so whenever they would wear this, you would get that barrel-chested look that you would have with Napoleon I, as well as George McClellan and others who pose with their hand inside of that coat.
Very good. Well, let's just take a little walk as we wrap this up. This is an impromptu shoot because we're in Gettysburg and it's 160, and the Horse Soldier's always willing to help us out with incredible stuff like this. So just take a last pan here. I mean, I am seeing all sorts of canteens and guns and swords and paintings, really whatever suits your Civil War and historical fancy this place has. So I would encourage you to come by. Chris, anything else to add?
No, I would just add thank you to the Horse Soldier for having us again. Check out our older videos that we had over on our YouTube channel. You can subscribe over on YouTube. You can check out all of the 160 videos that we have for Vicksburg, Chancellorsville, Gettysburg, and beyond. And we really want you to also check out our video map that Gary just shot a video about. You can learn more about our videos over there on our cool video map. And of course, the Horse Soldier here in Gettysburg has some of the best memorabilia, and my family and I have purchased many things from here, and I have to walk out of here before I purchase something else.
Yeah, I think that's great, Chris. Lastly, just real quick, I mean, this is some of the beginning of our coverage. You've already seen us covering Carlisle and Wrightsville, and in the past we've covered all sorts of other Gettysburg campaign stuff, but we will not tell you when or where we're going to shoot. We do not do that, or else we won't get our work done, but look for us in town. Look for us in the wheat field, in Devil's Den, in Culp's Hill, out at the first shot marker. Look for us, of course, near the field of Pickett's Charge. Look for a particularly special video coming to you about Little Round Top, as well as one that might concern the high water mark of the clump of trees. So we have a lot more coming. Make sure you share this stuff with your friends, and we really appreciate you watching, your attention, and your support of battlefield preservation and education.